My mill announced my miscarriage at dinner, and I announced her affair to the entire family. She thought she could use my private heartbreak as dinner entertainment, but she didn't realize I had the receipts for her 3-year-long double life. I sat at the head of the long mahogany dining table, listening to the clinking of silverware against fine china. It was my mother-in-law Eleanor's 60th birthday. The room was filled with relatives, expensive wine, and the smell of roasted lamb. On the outside, I looked perfect. I was wearing a silk navy dress. My hair was pinned back. I was smiling. But on the inside, I was screaming. 3 days ago, I had lost the baby, only 10 weeks along. It was a quiet, devastating tragedy that happened on a Tuesday afternoon while my husband David was at work. We hadn't told anyone, not even David's parents, or so I thought. I looked across the table at Eleanor. She was holding a glass of Chardonnay, her diamonds catching the chandelier light. She caught my eye and gave me a look that wasn't sympathetic. It was triumphant. "You know, everyone," Eleanor said, suddenly tapping her glass with a spoon. The room went silent. My heart began to thud against my ribs. "I have a bit of a sad announcement to make," she continued, her voice dripping with fake, performative sorrow. "I know we were all hoping for a new addition to the family soon, but unfortunately, Chloe here won't be able to provide that for us anymore." I froze. The air left my lungs. David's hand tightened on mine under the table. "Mom, what are you doing?" David whispered, his face turning pale. Eleanor didn't stop. She loved the spotlight too much. "Poor Chloe had a little complication," she said, looking around the room at David's aunts and cousins. "She lost the pregnancy. I just thought you all should know so you don't keep asking her when the nursery will be ready. It's such a shame. Some women just aren't built to carry, I suppose." The silence that followed was deafening. I felt the heat rise from my neck to my cheeks. It wasn't just that she told our secret. It was the way she did it, like she was announcing a canceled flight or a change in the weather, like my grief was a social inconvenience she had to manage. I looked at David's father, Richard, a kind, quiet man who adored Eleanor. He looked absolutely shattered both by the news of the loss and the cruelty of his wife. I felt a tear slip down my face, and that's when I saw it. Eleanor leaned back, took a sip of her wine, and smirked at me. She thought she had won. She thought she had successfully humiliated the outsider who took her son away. I thought that was the peak of the betrayal, but I was wrong, because as I reached into my clutch to grab a tissue, my fingers brushed against my phone, and I remembered the folder, the one I had discovered 2 weeks ago when I was helping Eleanor set up her new iPad. She thought she had deleted the sent folder. She was wrong. I stood up. My chair screeched against the hardwood floor. "Chloe, honey, sit down," Richard said softly, his eyes full of pity. "No, Richard," I said. My voice was surprisingly calm. "Eleanor is right. We should be open about our family secrets. It's much healthier, don't you think, Eleanor?" Eleanor's smirk faltered. She set her glass down. "Don't be hysterical, Chloe," she snapped. "Oh, I'm not hysterical," I said. "I'm inspired. Since we're sharing news that wasn't meant for this table, I have a birthday gift for you, Eleanor." I pulled out my phone. I tapped the screen 3 times. I had already synced it to the smart TV in the dining room, the one Eleanor used to show slideshows of her European vacations. The screen flickered to life. A photo appeared. It wasn't a vacation photo. It was a screenshot of a text thread. "I can't wait to see you at the cabin this weekend. Richard thinks I'm at a spa retreat. I miss the way you touch me." The photo shifted. Another screenshot. This one was a selfie. Eleanor in a bathrobe, smiling in a hotel mirror, with a man who was definitely not Richard standing in the background. It was the family's estate lawyer. The man sitting 3 chairs down from me. The room didn't just go quiet. It went cold. I watched the lawyer, Mr. Henderson, turn a shade of gray I didn't know humans could turn. I watched Richard's face crumble. But most importantly, I watched Eleanor. The diamonds didn't look so bright on her anymore. She looked small. She looked old. "Chloe, turn that off," she shrieked, lunging for the remote. I was faster. I tossed the remote into the pitcher of ice water in the center of the table. "Why, Eleanor?" I asked. "I thought you wanted everyone to know why the nursery wouldn't be ready. I just wanted them to know why you were too busy to help me when I was in the hospital." I looked around at the stunned faces of the family. She was at the spa with Mark Henderson while I was losing my child, I said. David stood up. He didn't look at his mother. He looked at me. "Let's go," he said. We walked out of that house. We didn't look back. I thought that was the end of the story. I thought we would just walk away and start our lives over. But that wasn't the real secret. 3 months later, the divorce papers were filed. Richard took Eleanor for everything. The house, the cars, the cabin where she spent her retreats. But then I received a phone call from Richard. He asked me to meet him at a park. "I have something to tell you, Chloe," he said. He looked tired, but his eyes were clear. "What is it, Richard?" "I knew," he whispered. "I've known about the affair for 2 years." I froze. "Then why didn't you leave her?" "Because I was waiting," he said. "I was waiting for her to show her true colors to David. I didn't want my son to hate me for breaking up the family. I needed him to see who she really was." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. "She stole your piece that night at dinner," he said. but she didn't realize that she was handing me the keys to my freedom. Inside the box was a necklace, not diamonds. It was a simple silver locket with a tiny etched heartbeat. For the one we lost, he said. What happened next shocked everyone. I realized then that Eleanor wasn't the only one playing a game. In a family built on secrets, the only way to survive is to be the one who speaks the truth. I'm pregnant again now, and this time Eleanor isn't on the guest list, and that's when everything changed. I learned that you don't have to be built a certain way to carry a family. You just have to be strong enough to let the lies fall away. Powerful final ending line. She thought my silence was her shield, but she forgot that a broken heart has nothing left to lose and everything to say. Betrayal comes in many forms, but exposing the truth is the ultimate closure. Have you ever had to reveal a secret to protect yourself? Share your experience in the comments below. And if you believe that the truth always comes to light, hit that subscribe button for more powerful stories.